When you get married, you give the best vows in the world to one another that you are going to stay together until death do you part. Or until one of you files for divorce and decides, yeah, this isn't for me. Which happens all the time. But thankfully, there are things called prenups out there that are going to address how do you split everything up in a divorce and what do you do in the divorce to make things much cleaner. But those prenups can also affect your estate plan. And that's what I wanted to talk to you today about. Before I dive into that, you can find me at my website, www.legionlawpllc.com. You can schedule a free consultation over the phone on the Contact Us page. So, if you have a prenup, there are probably sections in there that address what happens if one of you passes away before the other and you're still married. So the prenup doesn't have to only address the marriage dissolving in a divorce. It can actually address also the estate plan. Are there obligations to force you to get an estate plan in place? Are there obligations that force you to pay a certain amount of money to your spouse after you pass away to make sure that they're covered while everything else goes to your children that are not hers or whatever? There are many different scenarios in the prenup that can address the estate plan. And some prenups that I have seen actually address what's called the homestead exemption. So more specifically, a man and a wife get married. The man has a lot of assets. The wife does not have as many assets. He's concerned that she will live in his house after he's passed away. But at that point, he wants to give the house to his kids and not keep his house in the wife, or keep his wife in the house. Wow, that was a fumble right there. So in that circumstance, technically speaking, in Texas, there's something called the homestead exemption, which means that the wife, because they were married and he passed away, has this she has a constitutional right, the Texas constitutional right to live in the house until she either moves out or she passes away. She has a life estate is what it's called. The Constitution gives that to her from Texas, and she can be in that house indefinitely, even though that's his separate property. That's his house from before the marriage. So a prenup can say, hey, in that circumstance, she actually is waiving that right. She has to leave the house within 30 days after he passes away. And that is going to dramatically affect her circumstances, because once she's out of the house, then you can transfer it to the kids rather than she gets to live there for the rest of her life and the kids can't do anything about it. So there are different scenarios where the prenup is going to address what happens in the estate plan. Almost every prenup is going to also state, hey, we are saying this in this document, but if there's a will or there's a trust or other estate planning documents out there that says differently than the prenup, then the prenup is going to be silent and we're going to follow what the will or the trust says. So in the will or the trust, it could say, hey, the wife gets 60 days instead of 30, or she gets to live in the house indefinitely, or whatever, right? They can do whatever they'd like at that point. So really, that's something to look at whenever you're looking at a prenup. Make sure that not only is it addressing what happens in the case of dissolving a marriage, but what happens if a marriage is dissolved because one of them passes away rather than divorce. So there are a lot of important clauses in there that's going to affect your estate and how you're going to be able to live after someone passes away. So be sure to talk to an attorney to make sure you understand what you're signing up for. You can email me directly if you have any questions like this, Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at legionlawpllc.com, or go to my website, www.legionlawpllc.com. Go to the Contact Us page and schedule a free consultation over the phone to chat with me about this or anything else. So thank you so much for watching and have a great day.